For this video, we're going to take a look at how to use the Bang the Dice game dice in order to come up with an entire skirmish and RPG system.
Ta-da!
Hello gamers, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming. For today's video, we're going to try something a little bit different, a little bit experimental. I want to show you a rules system that I've come up with that can be used for skirmish, tabletop wargaming, and RPGs. Now, I want to walk you through the different elements of this gaming system, but I would also like to mention that I have a free PDF in the link below. You can go ahead and follow along in the PDF as we walk through the system. You can download it and use it for yourself. There's also character sheets here for getting some characters for your own games. I would love to get your feedback and comments, so please do go and download that document, follow along in this video, and leave me some feedback. Go ahead and play some games for yourself and tell me how we can improve this system in the future. One of the best places to start in this walkthrough is with the character sheet. If you see the first line there is the name of your character. Now what's cool about Bang is that Bang has a bunch of options for character names that you could just use if you don't want to come up with your own. For example, Lucky Duke, we have Susie Lafayette, Vulture Sam. There are a ton more names of characters. Like I said, if you don't want to come up with your own name, you can just use that name. And then you want to pick out a level and a type of character. So the level is anywhere from 1 to 5, and we'll go through those in a second. And the type of character, this is where you can have a little bit of imagination. If you want to have a bandit, or you want to have a lawman or a lawwoman, maybe you want to have an itinerant preacher or something like that, you can come up with the special kind of type of character that you want. When you look on the character sheet, if you continue down, you're going to have a max stamina. That's based upon your level type. Basically, max stamina is going to be your hit points. You will lose these as you take wounds, and you can refill them during the game. And then you have to decide how many weapons you want to have and the type of weapons. So if you want to have pistols, you might want to have 1, 2, or 3 pistols. If you want to have a really interesting and kind of a dangerous game, you might only give your characters a single weapon. And you see here that all of these weapons have 3 dots on them, which mean that once the weapons take 3 points of damage, that weapon is unusable. If you only have 1 weapon, that means you lose your weapon. Then you have to only fight hand-to-hand combat. You cannot shoot anymore. Sometimes you want to maybe have 2 weapons, and you can have a backup weapon in case your first weapon is destroyed. But that's entirely up to you and your opponent, so you can decide that in advance. In addition, the type of weapons, I'm basically using pistols and rifles, and they have different ranges. So just agree with your opponent on what kind of weapons you want to use, and go ahead and give them to your characters. So let's go ahead now and look back at the main character sheet here. The first thing that you want to do, like I said, is to pick out a level for your character. Now there are 5 different levels here. Level 1 is the novice level. Level 2 is the average. Level 3 would be your advanced fighter. Level 4 would be expert, and level 5 would be legend. Now we have different stamina points or hit points assigned to each of these levels. So level 1 you have 3, then you have 4 on level 2, 5 on level 3, you have 6 on level 4, and 7 stamina on level 5. Now, what is also cool about this is the level numbers are the number of dice that you're going to be using when you are shooting or in hand-to-hand combat. So that's pretty easy to remember. If you're a level 5 character, you have 5 dice. Level 2, you have 2 dice, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and take a look at shooting. For shooting, you are going to be rolling off the number of dice according to your level and then working out the effects of that. Now, these dice have different meanings, so let's walk through them one at a time here. The first dice, this is the number 1. This means that you have 1 target that is not in cover, and that target takes 1 damage. The next one is 2, and same thing as the first die. You can shoot at 1 target that is not in cover, and it will do 2 damage if it connects. If we go over to the green arrow is also 1 target. But this pierces soft cover. Now, soft cover is something like bushes or crates. Hard cover would be something like stone walls or houses or something like that. That's a lot more, a little more robust than the softer cover. So this, you can shoot at 1 target. It pierces soft cover and will cause 1 damage. If you roll this one, now this one is the scatter die or the Gatling gun die. What you'll do is you'll pick out 1 target, and then if there are any additional targets within 2 inches of that target, up to a total of 2 additional targets, so a total of 3 targets here, then you will be able to do 1 damage to each. Now this is going to pierce both soft and hard cover. It's something like a ricochet of a bullet, or the stone is breaking into pieces and flying out and hitting other people. So this is actually a pretty strong die roll because it is able to get through soft and hard cover and also potentially hit 3 people, 1 point of damage for each of them. We roll this die. That die will automatically count as 1 weapon damage. So you will make a mark on your weapon. Begin with your first weapon. If you only have 1 weapon, then obviously that's the weapon you will mark your damage on. And when those damages are maximized on the sheet, then the weapon malfunctions. You can no longer use it. In the case of multiple weapons, you can move on to your second weapon. Otherwise, if you only have 1 weapon, then you have to move into hand-to-hand combat only. You can no longer shoot. And finally, we have the beer face, and this will be the face. If you roll this, you can immediately regain 1 stamina, so 1 hit point, up to the maximum that you started with. So, for example, if you have 7 hit points as the legend, you can never get an 8th hit point by rolling these. But if you have 3 hit points as the legend, you could get up to 4 hit points back, stamina points back, up to 7. So those are the dice that we can use. You go ahead and you roll them off, and then you decide who you want to target with the dice. You work out the effects of the TNT and also of the stamina dice, and then you go ahead and just figure out what you want to do with the rest. In hand-to-hand combat, you will also roll off the number of dice that are equal to your level. However, there is not as much that happens with these dice. So, for example, let's look at these dice right here. The 1 and the 2, these will be connecting hits in hand-to-hand combat. This one will do 1 damage point. This one will do 2 damage points. If you roll this one during combat, that means you're able to get a breath of air and to regain a point of stamina. If you roll this one, then what that happens is there is a backfire. The attacker actually suffers 1 damage as the defender strikes back. So something goes wrong in the attack and the defender is able to strike back. If you roll this one, or if you roll this one, it is considered a miss in hand-to-hand combat and nothing happens. Next is saves. Now, saves only apply to shooting results, okay? They do not apply to combat. Combat is much more dangerous and much more certain to hit. So there are no saves that are allowed in combat, but only in shooting. Now, when you take potential damage, let's say this was your roll right here. This could be potentially 3 points of damage if you had taken it on 1 person. Maybe you divide it up among others. But let's say for this example that you are shooting and you hit three shots on 1 person. Now, what would happen is that person will be able to pick up all 3 dice and to roll them off. If they show a beer face, then they immediately negate that damage. So here you see there's no negation of the damage. So there are no saves. 3 points of damage go through. However, if I had rolled this, for example, then I would save 1 and take 2 points of damage. Movement and ranges. Movement is meant to be quite tight in this game. You're going to be in small spaces, so you don't want to be moving a ton. A normal movement will be 6 inches, and what happens then when you make a normal movement is that you have the possibility of firing a weapon afterwards. You can go ahead and take a shot. If you want to charge, you have up to 8 inches. And then with that, you will be able to enter into hand-to-hand combat by coming into base-to-base contact with another figurine. And if you would like to run, you can move 10 inches, but you cannot fire a weapon. Now, it's important to know that you cannot pre-measure in this game. So you are able now to declare a charge. If you miss the charge, you measure out the distance of 8 inches and you stop your charge there. The 2 ranges for weapons we will be using is the pistol has a 12-inch maximum firing range, and the rifle has a 24-inch maximum firing range. So let's go ahead and give you a few examples. Let's say that we have this guy right here who's firing on him. We are within 12 inches using our pistol. We'll go ahead and say that our character firing is an expert, so we will take 4 dice. We will roll them off to see what the result is. And if we look here immediately now, we will take 2 points of weapon damage. Remember, we only have 3 for each weapon, so that is a dangerous, dangerous roll there. In addition here now, we have these 2 dice. Now, this shot would do 2 damage. This shot, we would center on him, and if there's anyone within 2 inches, they would also take damage. Now, this person is able to make a save on both of these dice. Let's roll them off separately so we can keep track of them. That is not a save, so that would be 1 point of damage. This one is also not a save, so 2 points of damage, so for a total of 3 points of damage. Let's say that this guy is an average figurine, which means he has 4 stamina. In this case, he would be knocked down to a single stamina point. If he were a novice, he would be taken out of the game. Let's say that this guy is in fact average, and now it is his turn. He doesn't have any weapons left because they all blew up. He's going to go ahead and charge in. We measured that out, and that is easily an 8-inch charge. Now what we're going to do is, because he is average, he's going to get 2 dice in his hand-to-hand combat attack. We will look at these 2 now. This dice will be a miss. This will be a hit with potential 2 damage. Now there is no saves in hand-to-hand combat, so immediately this guy will take 2 damage. He is an expert, so that means he has 6 stamina, dropping him down to 4. Well, let's say we continue on with this combat, and we have another guy who moves 6 inches into the battlefield, and he's going to take a shot off on this guy to try to help his buddy out. We'll say that he is advanced, so we will go ahead and throw 3 dice. And, this was not a good roll. Immediately, 2 points of weapon damage. He can take a stamina. If he has lost any life previously, he can gain 1 of those back. So that would be an attack that wouldn't actually do anything. His weapon jammed up, and he was able to take a deep breath and to get some stamina back. Let's say that we had rolled differently, and let's say we got these 3. Now, this is an interesting situation because you can choose the dice that you want to use on the targets that you want to use. Now, this would not be a good die to be using in this situation because remember, this is a scatter die, so you pick out a target, and then every target within 2 inches, friendly or foe, will suffer 1 point of damage if this is not saved for. So I do not want to use that to shoot over here because I will hit my own guy if it's not saved. Now, these 2 are also good to use on this guy because if we look here, this one would be 1 point of damage, this would be 2. Let's go ahead and roll this one first for a save to see if we can take him out. He only has 1 stamina point left. We roll here, and he saved that one. Okay, so then we have to move to this one, and a potential 2 points of damage. Does he save on it? No, he does not. So 2 points of damage go through. We will take him out of combat, and that means that if it's possible, I can direct this shot somewhere else on the battlefield. As far as the turns and the rounds go, this game is set up as an I go, you go system. So the team that has the highest leader will get to begin, and you will pick out 1 person from that group to be activated, and then you will jump to the other side. So in this case, we'll say that this guy is the highest among this team right here, and we have, in fact, a level 3 advanced. The highest over here on the other side is a level 2 average. So we would start with these guys would get to begin. I would activate 1 of my figurines and go ahead and move or shoot or charge or whatever I want to do. When I'm finished with that, I will jump over to the other side, and they will then activate, and then we will move back and forth in that fashion. If the highest of from both sides actually tie in the level that they are, you would go to the next level. Let's say they have another level 2 and they only have a level 1 after this. Well, then they would get to go. Now, if it's tied all the way down, then go ahead and give the youngest player the first activation. When trying to figure out point values for each of the sides, to begin with, I think it's just simple enough to add up the level numbers and let that be the value of your team. So, for example, let's say we have a level 5 over here on this team, and we have a level 3 and a level 2. That would be a total of 10 points. We can then go over to this side, and we could go ahead and pick out 10 points worth of levels here. So maybe we want a level 4, and we want a level 2. which would give us a total of 6 points, and then we'll have 4 level 1s. So it would be 10 against 10, and that seems to be a way to get a fair and balanced game. In the playtesting I've done so far, it's worked out just fine. Well, there you have it, folks. A quick run through of a brand new skirmish and RPG system that I've tried to build out of Bang the Dice game dice set. It's a really fun way to have a dice pool system where there's a lot of different things happening and it goes very quickly. It's pretty exciting and pretty dynamic. I would love for you to go ahead and try this out for your own sake and to see if this works. Give me some good feedback about things that work, things that didn't work, ways we can make this better for the next version of the rules. Now, the game Bang the Dice game is a fantastic game. I love this game. I play it all the time with my kids and with friends. So it's a great game to pick it up if you don't have it. And the additional joy and benefit you get out of picking up this game is now you have 5 dice to play around with, and you can try out this skirmish and RPG system. If you like these kind of videos, then please do give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and I will continue making experimental gaming videos like this in the future. And most importantly, thank you for joining us here today at Gray Army Gaming for the future of gaming.